All right, so in this video, I want to talk about Solana. We're going to keep it pretty simple and straightforward. I know there's a lot of lines here. We're going to clear all those off and walk through them one by one, so it makes more sense. So first off, let's actually get rid of that too. First off, let's look at our downtrend line. So very basic here. Depending on how you draw this, if you draw it in the strictest sense, maybe we haven't broken through it. If you draw it a little bit less conservatively, then maybe we've broken through it. Either way, we're contending the break of a downtrend line. We are also recovering just this general range here. I'm just going to draw this line. It's a pretty clear range. We had a deviation below, right? We lost the range and now we've recovered it. So personally, I'm out of my Solana long. If you keep up with my Twitter account, I took a long at like the range reclaim around $19 and change, low 19s, which is kind of lower than what I would draw the structural level here manually. And that's because of our margin pressure levels, which I'll throw on here just a second. So our long margin pressure levels, and I'll explain what these mean in just a moment. And I'll also get rid of that downtrend line. What these show us is that this range is now being dictated by our 2x and our 3x long margin pressure level. And I'll also throw on our short margin pressure levels from over here, which was the FTX collapse, right? And again, I'll explain these in just a minute, but we see a very nice, strong confluent range, right, between our longs and our shorts. So let's break down what's actually happening here. So off of our FTX kind of pre-FTX collapse high, right? That is the level where a lot of traders are going to be wanting to hide their liquidation points, right? Because if we take out 38, right? If we take out 38 and we get back above the levels that we saw pre-FTX, and all of a sudden you've got a pretty bullish scenario for FTX or for Solana. You've got a pretty bullish narrative, and ultimately you've got a lot of people just looking at this structural resistance level, $38, and saying, I don't think Solana is going to get any higher than that. I'm going to stick my liquidation point above this, and I'm going to start shorting Solana. Well, you can start shorting Solana on 2x leverage while maintaining that liquidation level once price moves above 25.85. And on Solana's recovery here post FTX, this is where the shorts just kept piling in, right? The shorts just kept piling in back down, right? And we can see that we kind of had some support down here at our 1x short level, because once you drop below this level, you can no longer short Solana on 1x leverage while maintaining a liquidation point above this high, right? Now, obviously, we've crashed below this, deviated below this for various reasons, right? But I'll get rid of this short level and I'll just kind of isolate for the long levels here and kind of show you why I personally traded this from like 1920 all the way up to like just under 22, I think is where I closed it yesterday. And what I think is going to happen next for Solana, which is probably a rotation to the top of the range here. So what happened here was essentially once we reclaimed this level and started dipping back down below it, these longs are able to start coming back in on 3x long leverage. Why? Because when price goes below 1904, 1905, you can start going long on 3x leverage and maintain a liquidation point below this really deep wick here, which is going to act as a lot of support. All right. When you can also see, structurally, we have a lot of demand there too. So you're going to have a lot of people hiding their liquidation points down below this point, right? So as soon as we drop back below 1904 after reclaiming it, right, and then also just reclaiming the broader general range where we've seen this be kind of a point of contention in the past, it's actually a bullish signal, right? So once we reclaimed, right, I'll go into the 4 hour, or I'll zoom in here. We're on the 4 hour. So once we actually kind of reclaimed, right, and then we saw this big wick here, right? We saw this crash, and then that was a very strong candle, right? We immediately got pushed back up. That's where I personally went long. Why did I close where I closed? Well, obviously you have the structural level here that was kind of hit. But if we get our quartering tool and we draw it according to our 3x and 2x long margin pressure levels, you're going to see that our midpoint was hit. We'll get rid of that. All right, so this is just a quartering tool, it's just my fib tool. I've just adjusted it based off of risk reward levels, which just kind of, to keep it more simple. You've got your midpoint, which is going to be your 1-to-1 risk reward, right? If you're looking at this as your risk scenario. This is your reward scenario on a long. You can no longer get above a 1-to-1 risk reward. Once we go above this level, that changes the incentives for traders, and you have less longs entering. You're also getting better risk reward on shorts here, right? So we get that kind of correction. All right, so we've actually seen a kind of a perfect correction here back down to our 0.75, or basically our what is essentially our 3-to-1 risk reward level off of this 2x to 3x long margin pressure level range, and we're starting to push back off of it pretty strongly. We've also got the kind of structural support over here. So far, I'm gonna just be continuing to align myself with the trend. I did miss this entry. To be full disclosure, I kind of wanted to eye this, and just was getting some work done this morning, and did not enter here. Would have been a good entry in hindsight. I do think there's a strong chance that maybe we bounce around in here. But ultimately, I do think if we can take out 22 or so, we probably rotate this midpoint. We probably rotate back up to the top of the range, which is around $25. And that'll be resistance. And honestly, I think that'll be a pretty decent place to short, as it has been in the past. Why? Because you kind of got this double confluence. You have 25.85 and 25.40, right? As price goes above this level, you can start shorting on 2x leverage, hide your liquidation point up here. The longs can no longer go long on 2x leverage and hide their liquidation points below this local low. So ultimately, you have a situation where sellers are coming in and buyers are exiting, right, towards the top of this range. So I'll be looking to actually short towards the top of this range, or if I get in any longs on like a reclaim of this midpoint or a breakout above this midpoint, then I'll just be closing my longs here, right? We're just trading the range. And look, if you short here, ultimately, if we take out this level and we start running up, you can just flip long, because that's pretty bullish when you rotate the entire range and then break out of the top of it. But otherwise, just looking to ride this higher if we can get a clean entry at around this midpoint, which is around 22.25. Otherwise, just looking to short or close longs towards the top of the range around between 25 and 26. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please do like and follow if you're watching on Twitter, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, if you want access to these indicators, go check out the link in the description below. If you're on YouTube, it's Sistine.ai. You can grab this indicators bundle, or you can also get access to them by subscribing to the Research Hub. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Peace.